We are officially live, ladies and gentlemen. We are
All
here.
right.
So, hello everybody. I am Josh Pantelleresco. This is the one and only Kurt Zauer, and I am going to do what I always do when I get a guest. I'm going to ask probably the most devastating question of all to begin with. So, Kurt, if you have anything incriminating you'd like to say, make it good.
Anything incriminating?
Yeah, we're live, right? So, I mean, we got to make this entertaining. No.
I've got lots of incriminating things, but I can't say them here. So that would be too incriminating.
You're pleading the fifth. You're pleading the fifth.
There you go.
I gotcha. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second here. I just answered a question here as I'm about to go live.
Ooh, here we go.
Yeah. Hold on a second here. I just answered a question here. Yeah. So you go. You're watching. You're watching. You're watching. Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that.
I'm doing that. See, this is why this is the guinea pig stage. I can screw up here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's fair, right?
Happens to the best of us.
Yes, that's okay. How you doing, man?
Oh, here we go.
You got it?
I got it on. I got it on Twitter now too. Cool.
Sweet. Done. So that's right. We are sharing the love for each other, or he's sharing the love for me, one or the other, anyway. So Kurt. So you've been doing. You started in comics, or did you write other things first? Like, what got you into this?
I started in comics. I started about 2016. I was into comics in high school and kind of fell out of them for a while. But then, with everything going on, I really got back into kind of some of the indie titles, some of the Image titles. The big ones were Nailbiter and Southern Bastards. When I read Southern Bastards, I was so blown away and just like, wow, if you can do this, I need to start telling my story. So that's really what kind of got me into thinking about writing comics. So
see, I miss Southern Bastards. I like that was during the Image hotbed of there were so many good books out there.
Yeah.
There was Saga, right, which was the one I gravitated towards.
Yep.
There was Jonathan Hickman was probably at his absolute best during that era too, so I kind of went that way.
That was East of West, right?
Yeah, that was East of West. That was Nightly News. That was did a space one too. I can't remember what it's called. Right. I can't remember what it's called. I know he did that. We did Red Mask to Mars. That was going on. There was a few other ones as well. That was Hickman at his best. You also had Image just had a lot of cool books in that era. So I didn't get all the cool ones, and Southern Bastards was one of the cool ones I didn't get.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely check it out. It's
definitely
amazing story.
Yeah. So then, what is the story you want to tell?
My story, it's called Spectrus and Sabanian. It's a kind of a bizarre supernatural horror and hero story. My protagonist is a ghost from ancient Egyptian times, and she's lived into the modern era. She has lived so long, she's kind of learned to rejoin the world of the living. So she wants to find purpose and become an archaeologist. The catch is her existence. She's kind of bound. Her fate is bound by an ancient curse to a demon named Sabanian, and he's this churning, whirling, fiery engine of destruction. So as she pushes further into the world of the living, she has to pull him along, drag him along, and figure out what to do with him. So in the opening part of the story, he's in a prison for supernatural threats that she has to break him out of. She basically has to drag him out of there so she can start her life. But really, I'm into issue number 2 right now, and that kind of is the middle point of the escape from that. It's called Containment Facility 4, and it's guarded by these different security teams and some exorcists, and I don't know. It's pretty. It's pretty unique. I think there's not a lot of other stuff out there. It's maybe a little bit of Justice League Dark, a little bit of Doctor Strange, a little Dead Man, with the ghost aspect of it. But it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. I have 2 full issues, and then I have a short black and white preview issue.
That's awesome. No, I always enjoy, like, I write novels. So right now my character is actually holding a policeman hostage in the police station to get her weapons back.
Okay, what's the genre? Is it like
it's parallel universe dragon slaying? It's like Parker meets Quantum Leap.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So the idea is it's so that Mayans like a parallel universe empire, and what the thing I was interested about this was, do people get, when given the chance, do they want, like, what's a good person? Like that was the question I had in my head. Like, how do you define what's good? And one of the things I loved about, like, the concept of Parker is the idea of a code of honor. Parker's not a good guy, and he would never tell you he was a good guy. He's an honorable guy, right? And there's the thing about honorable and good, I think, is a really interesting dynamic. You can be an honorable person and not necessarily a good one. Conan's a great example of this, I think. Right. Conan's an excellent, an excellent example of this. So if you go comics, I love, like, that's why Conan, I think, has such an appeal, because even though he's not, he's a pirate, he's a pirate, a thief, he ends up becoming king eventually through a zillion different things, right? But the thing about Conan makes him interesting is he never betrays who he is, ever, right? No matter what, he just doesn't do that, and that's what makes him heroic. In your story, the question I have, like, it sounds like she wants him to escape. Does he want to escape?
He does. There's a lot of backstory that I'm still exploring. He doesn't consider himself a prisoner there. He feels like he's there to lay low, because he's kind of a demon on the run from his his superiors, or the people that sent him to the earthly plane to do things. So he feels he's just been laying low. He hasn't been a prisoner, but he's been there for so long, like decades. He's ready to stretch his legs again and do some damage. Although, of course, the ghost, Anexi, wants him to lay low. She has a plan for him to keep him busy, so she could start her life. So we'll have to see how that works out, though.
So this is okay. Because I could see a really cool conflict right there, just off the top of my head. Because the thing is, laying low and just being left alone to go about your business, generally speaking, isn't how you live life. You have to at some point make some noise. And it seems like at this point, he's doing everything he can not to make noise. And that's a very interesting conflict for him. And that's why she's there, probably, is to kick him in the pants. You gotta make some noise, right? And he's like, I don't wanna.
Well, he doesn't want to be her slave. I mean, he doesn't want to think. He doesn't want her to think that he's there just to do what she wants him to do. He wants to be independent, and he has a very strong personality. They both do. Kind of what I'm trying to explore here is I've always liked the pairs of heroes, Cloak and Dagger and Iron Fist and Power Man. But generally those pairs get along, and they work together. But these two do not. They do not get along, and they generally do not work together. But they have this curse that kind of intertwines them, and they have no choice but to work with each other. So it's something I'm exploring, and issue 3 is in the works right now, and more things will be revealed as things go on. So how about your? Okay, go ahead.
Well, okay, yeah, we don't worry. We have plenty of time to talk about me. It's all good. But
All right.
yeah, we have plenty of time. No, I'm exploring this concept. Like you've successfully completed 2 comics. Do you have a finite like act 1, act 2, act 3 for this, or are you kind of just going by the seat of your pants?
I've got I'm working on the first story arc right now, which yeah, I'm probably getting into act 2 with issue number 2, and then around issue 5 or 6, that story arc will end. Um, I have probably way too many ideas where I could take this story. I could probably easily do 3 years of stories with this series, but we'll see. It depends on how people like it and how successful I am on Kickstarter and things like that. So
you're like a relative newcomer to this whole, like we were talking a little bit off the air about this. Like you've entered kind of like this whole new world going into this. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, very easy. I mean, I've always liked stories, and I was a role playing gamer. I still am, since I was in 5th grade, and so I've always liked stories and adventures and anti-heroes and these things. So I mean, you just go for so long, and you can only be into stories for so long until you want to write your own. It's just the way it works. I was an English major in college, so I really just love stories, and with the way things are now, all the movies and I guess I just got in now because of all the movies and TV shows, but I got back into comics more so than the other media. So yeah, I'm new, and but I still have lots of stories I want to tell. So
well, that's cool. So I'm going to ask a deep question. Are you ready? Brace yourself.
Go for it.
What are you trying to say? Because everybody has there's always I have a firm belief. Like we'll talk about me for just a second here, because now we can do that for right. Every story, right?
Sure.
Is about something I'm going through in my life right now. I have my first novel came out earlier this year. It was called The Cloud Diver. The idea of it was it's the Matrix meets Indiana Jones. But what it was really about is about a character coming out of their comfort zone. I quit working regularly to get into freelancing. And that's a scary leap of faith, but I felt like I needed to do this. I needed to go for it once in my life, and it's been the scariest roller coaster ride of my life.
Okay.
So Diver speaks about that. Alice Zero is Alice in Wonderland is Greek mythology. Alice opens Pandora's box and gets a certain Cheshire visitor inside her head. And for me, it deals with the fact, there's parts that deal with sicknesses and disease. Very ironic during COVID, but what makes it, but even before COVID, the most, on a personal note, the most traumatic thing I ever saw in terms of sickness was when I was 4 years old. My mom had an asthma attack, and I still remember the ambulance loading her up on a stretcher, and an oxygen mask was on her. And
oh wow,
no, it was bad. It was really bad. And I remember this as a kid, and so my own personal point of view of sickness, like what I do and what I go for it, started from that moment. So dealing with being a cause, cure, and what I think how that stuff works is a big part of what's going on in Alice in Wonderland, right? Okay. Right. Corey, which is the book I'm working on right now, deals with what I feel a good person is honesty. All it takes to be a good person, right? Can you learn empathy? Can you learn sympathy? Can you overcome who you were in the past, right? Can you do that? And if you can't, why not? I think it's an interest. So I'm this is stuff that I'm interested in, or I've been through, or I've experienced, or it means something to me. I feel you do the same. Every storyteller does the same thing. So the question I'm asking is, this what you're dealing with here? What parts of your life is this touching?
Boy, that's deep.
I know.
That is a difficult question. I'd have to. I guess it's more. She's been around for so long. She's dealt with people for so long, how do you see so much and yet still keep pressing forward? You kind of see, especially, if you're a ghost and you've lived for 3 or 4 millennia, yeah. How do you overcome the just the weight of humanity, I guess? How do you stay positive? After you've seen so many awful, horrible things, how do you keep moving? And I'm not gonna say that I guess I can't say I've seen a lot of awful, horrible things, but I've just experienced a lot of just people like you say. I'm maybe a bit reserved, and I observe things. I listen more than I talk. So and I really like history. So how do it's what's funny is that people really haven't changed.
No.
If you look at ancient Egyptian history, ancient Rome, and even what's going on now, people haven't changed at all.
What shows? We're not going to talk too much. Yeah, I mean, Molly asked a great question. Would you have the same values? That's an excellent question, and right, that's a really that's the heart of a good conflict story. So, and let's go further down that path, that line of thinking before we go back to the history thing, because there is something about now that's been very fascinating with me. But going back into history, yeah. See, look at what Mark's saying. The fact she wants a second chance, she must be something good in humanity that she even wants to come back. That's a very true thing. So, I mean, I guess deep down there's a little bit of a room. I'm going to ask this about you personally. It's easier for you. You see the world a lot inside your head, right? Like you analyze things very much. I'm guessing.
Right. Yes.
Right. Not a bad thing. It's just
Yeah, it's just observation, right?
It's just observation. But I bet you, with you, processing feelings is harder. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you could be on track there. Yeah. That's.
Okay. So here's what I've learned about creativity in general. This is just a creativity lesson, and this is where this is where I believe I became good. I'm not saying I'm great, but I'm good, right? I recognize the fact that I was writing a lot in my head, and intellectually speaking, it made there's certain technical things that works, but I realized that people don't connect to the intellectual thing. They connect to the tangible, emotional thing. We all understand. This ultimately comes down to empathy. We all understand pain. We all understand. We all laugh. We all cry. We all dream. We all have joy. We all have these feelings. But in order to properly express them, you have to be very honest, right?
Right.
With yourself and what you feel, how you feel, and how you process things. In order to, how do I put this? In order to actually have a better understanding of who you are, but also how you're going to convey your message to readers so they too can understand. By understanding yourself better, you understand the world better. Does that make sense?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm very, very comfortable with who I am. I've, done a lot of gone a lot of places, done a lot of things, and I don't have any problems with who I am. Sometimes just the way, sometimes I just have a hard time understanding other people.
No,
it's sometimes it's just frustrating. I guess a lot of it too is I've been in the military for over 30 years.
Okay.
And there's a huge emphasis on teamwork, right? We're all we're all in this together. We work towards a common goal. We get things done. Let's make it happen. And that's just, for me, that's that level of order and that level of, and there's just wonderful camaraderie and just a sense of just brotherhood and those things. Sometimes it's funny because some people do call me I have this idealism, this kind of Captain America idealism, which is, I don't think that I don't have a problem with that, but when I see people, especially now in the environment we're in now, it's very difficult for me. And for me, and that's probably what I'm trying to say through my character. Someone that's lived through so much history, how do you not get frustrated with humanity? Of course, again, I'm not saying I'm perfect.
Oh God, no. No.
Certainly, no, I'm no great person or anything, but sometimes it's just frustrating, maybe I'm clear. Maybe it comes through a little more clearly now.
No. So I understand it. So I've moved. Okay, I've not been in the military. I don't. Right. Right. No, it's true. Military installs like a lot of cool tools. I think a lot of people. I think my favorite two things about the military, straight up, is the discipline it creates in people. It shows people the value of discipline and teamwork. And everybody has a defined role of who they are. Most of the rest of the world doesn't have that clearly defined role. We have to kind of find our own way. And sometimes it's great because we discover we can be so much more than what we are. But sometimes what we find is that we get stuck. And that's when I think a lot of the things that you're talking about, the frustrations air. I've never been in the military, but I've moved. Just to give you an example, I lived in Phoenix. I'm currently in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. I've lived in Detroit. I've lived in Vancouver. I've lived in Toronto. I've lived in Calgary. I've lived in small towns. I've seen a lot of different environments from an outside point of view. Right? I think the other thing about the military is the military is, in one way, it has its own insulation because you guys have a unit, you have your own goals, motivations, and you kind of like your own world. On the flip side, when you go out, right? On the flip side, when you go out, it gives you a very different set of eyes what you see going on in the world than everybody else. I'm an outsider in the sense that I have moved around everywhere. So what happens for me is when I come into a situation, I see things very differently because I have been in so many different situations. So I can kind of look at a scenario and say, okay, you're going to go this way. Based on what I've seen here and here, you're likely to go this way. Because everybody else, it's good. Because it's almost like for me, if life was a book, I would be like, I skip pages all the time. And I just come back to different, because I'm in so many different places. Right?
Yeah.
Right? You were in a completely different book. But in that book, it taught you a lot of things that are so invaluable in the real world that people just don't have. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, it totally. Actually, I kind of jealous. I'd love to go some of the places that are on your list there, Mog. That sounds amazing, right?
I've been all over. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you have that in you, when you have that ingrained in you, you see the world so differently because you've been exposed to so many different ideas. And even in the military, even though the military, I mean, you have definitely a way of doing things. You are exposed to almost the same stuff I am. Probably more disciplined at it than I am because I'm an artist and I'm flaky and all that other wonderful fun stuff, right? But
that doesn't mean I can't be flaky.
No. But I get the feeling of being 30 years of ingrained discipline. It's a little hard. You got to work harder at being a flaky than I do. I think for me it comes a little bit more natural. By the way, I'm not saying you can't do it. But I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying I have seen some epic, I ain't doing shit days from some people I know that have served. Epic. But that all said, you have a built-in discipline to get things done, and that is something that I think as I've gotten older I appreciated a lot more. Right? Anybody that competes, does sports, does art, does plays, does anything along that requires a structured format and constant discipline builds that into them. Art ultimately is it also, I think the reason why I think a lot of people that are in corporate environments or military environments get into art, because art, believe it or not, requires a lot of those same disciplines. You have to discipline yourself day in and day out to get the work done. Right? If you don't, no one's going to make you do it. It's not like a sergeant's going to yell in your face, but you're not going to get paid. And it's a little bit more. It's in one sense, the plateau is a lot more brutal, but on the other sense, right? The structure isn't that different ultimately. Am I on the right track, or am I on like weird wacky drugs?
No, you are. You're right. There is discipline. It's funny. You're right. There is a lot of discipline, but soldiers are also human beings, so they have their little quirks and weird things. And trust me, there's plenty of
I know if you guys would say right now
weirdness that goes on in the military too. You've got plenty of flaky individuals, but you also have a lot of people that thrive. If they were just at home, just with no direction, who knows what they'd be doing. But in the military, you get pointed at a certain goal, and there's things to do, and everything is very cut and dried. It's very nice. I mean, I wasn't full time. I was National Guardsman for the whole time, but still, I've deployed a number of times. I've been here and there. So, but you're right. It is kind of a society unto itself. They have their own slang. They have their own uniforms and way of doing things and rules and regulations and all these things. And you're right. The creativity is a big, the things you learn in the military really helps with your creativity, but creativity is also kind of a big outlet and relief, kind of a release for people in the military. There are a lot of actually, really creative people. A lot of role players too. It's funny in the military, but it's right. The discipline helps, but art and creativity is also a very big release for people who can be pretty stressed out.
Well, yeah,
it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It definitely has that appeal. Like it just seems to me like because you've seen so much and done so much, right? That's where your frustration comes from, because like you've seen it. Like the answers, and sometimes here's the thing that really gets you: the answer's right there. You can see it literally under their nose. It's like it's right there.
Yep.
And you're not looking. It's like and it's like, why can't you see this? Right? And then you come to what I sometimes come to. First off, you have a drink. Just go, you know what? Fuck this. I need to figure this out.
That always helps.
But you also have to make peace with the fact, I think, at some point that, and no one sees, one, as you pointed out so eloquently, I don't got all my shit lined up in a row. I'm still trying to build my shit to line up in a row properly right now. Right? Number two, it's not my responsibility to worry about. I care about my fellow human beings, but I'm here to live my life to the best of my ability. And right. I can make peace with the fact that my life is my life and your life, whoever you are, is your life. And I wish you nothing but the best. But if you're a train wreck, please go that way. Right. Please. I don't want to deal with it. Now, Now, that all said, I don't expect perfect. What I expect. Well, all I really expect from most people is they're going to do exactly what they want to do. That was actually that was my moment of revelation. Everybody given the choice will do exactly what they want to do, no matter what. And if that's what, and once I realized that, it became actually easier for me to let it go, because it was like, okay, they're doing what they want. Right. And it's like, you're doing what you want. Okay, got it. I'm good with it. Whatever you're doing. Some people got very frustrated when I say it like that. But I realize, like, given any circumstance, no matter what, people do exactly what they want to do.
Yeah.
No
what else can you do, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I just kind of went, like, I shrugged. It's like, okay, I don't have to fix you. You're doing what you want to do. The only thing I do sometimes, are you sure that's what you want? And then they look at me sometimes like, what do you mean? It's like, well, you're doing this, but you could do this. No, I want to do it this way. Okay. I don't get frustrated anymore because
enjoy. Yeah.
Right? It's not about me. I don't need to be the knight in shining armor to save the world. I just need to live the best life I can, help anybody, help anybody I feel like I can in the best way. That's it. Not a zip.
Yeah, it's simple. It really is.
Yeah, that's it. And if it doesn't work out,
it should be simple. It's not always, but it should be.
Simple isn't easy. That's the thing. Simple is not easy. That's the thing. People are confusing. They say, no, they're not the same thing. Simple is like nice. Getting to that simplicity sometimes hurts the brain a lot. Right? It's like,
yeah. There's a lot of planning and a lot of heartache that goes into making things simple. So
yes, and you're gonna fail a few times, and you're gonna and it's frustrating, but you learn. It's like you live and learn. That's life, man.
Yeah.
That is true. So did I hit? And was I right where your era? Like, did I hit the right spots in your era of frustration, or is it something else that I missed?
No, I think you're pretty much on there. I mean, it's being an observer and a teamwork oriented person, sitting back and watching things go to hell sometimes when they don't have to.
Yeah,
that's part of my frustration and part of what's going into my story, my characters. Yeah.
No, it's fair. That's fair. And you realize it's going to happen because it's the nature of it's human nature, and it's like it's how we learn.
Right.
Hopefully.
So how about you with your honorable yet not so nice?
Can a bad person become can a bad person completely redeem?
Right.
And I've never done anything I feel like it's absolutely remotely terrible, but I can't say I haven't made mistakes in my life. And I guess for me it comes down to this. Like there is a very big part of me, like I'm very careful how I judge people, because one day it will be my turn. And I mean, it sounds like a very selfish thing, but I realize that if I don't give people mercy, even the worst of the worst sometimes, well, I'm certainly not without my own problems. When it's my turn, what's it going to be like with me? Because I think everybody at some point has to look at everything they've done in their lives, good, bad, and indifferent, and have to be very honest in terms of the opportunities to become more, or the opportunities like the mistakes we've made. And I'm looking at, and so like that's part of like looking at what a good person is. Like, is it a standard? Is it a standard you have to try to live by? Is it a code of honor? And I think code of honor, and the reason why I think that's so appealing to me is because, well, it's not that far from the truth. I kind of play by my own rules, and I always kind of will play by my own rules. Whether or not that means it's always, and I can see it. Like I could see a possibility the way the world's going that I'll be a crook of some kind. I can see it. I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to incriminate myself when I say that, but it's just my morality and the law aren't necessarily the same thing. And so we're coming into a very interesting time in history, in that the law may say one thing and morality may say another thing, and I might be a crook, and I could say, and I like, that's just something I could see within myself. Maybe I'm wrong to assume that. Maybe I'm being like, maybe I'm mind fucking myself a little bit on that, right? But and I can, again, I'm honest enough with myself to acknowledge this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like I see the way the world's going. I mean, something Mox earlier, the world is kind of going down a shithole, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But I think the biggest one is the United States has been in this position 3 times in the last 50 years. It's just so bad now, partly because of how wealth has been distributed today, but I also feel it's because we've been here 3 times before. And right, in terms of the pandemic, how we reacted to it, the Black Lives Matter movement has been about 3 different times. I had the conversation going on with Black Lives Matter in 1992 after Rodney King was beaten, almost the exact same conversation.
Okay.
And that hit me in a very hard way. It's like, have we really, like going back to something you said, have we really changed at all? And that really, like, that struck, like, when I had a buddy in Toronto, he gave me a call. He was talking about his own thing. And I know that conversation was an important one. But part of me while I was listening to him was going, I've had this chat before.
Yeah.
And I had this chat in the 90s when I was a teenager after Rodney King was beaten. And that hit me very hard. It forced me to look at everything going on around, and I recognized very quickly that, oh my God, we're repeating history completely right now.
It's scary to feel, we're still young, but it's scary to feel like an old soul, because we see these, like you say, things are repeating. Are we learning? Are we getting better? Maybe a little bit. Maybe we're going in the right direction, but A, it's not everybody, and B, it's too slow. And then C, you've got people actively pushing in the opposite direction.
That's human nature. I find that's human. That's change. That's change, right? The nature of change. Right. That's the nature of change. Most people don't fear change. I actually think the only constant in the universe is change. I don't actually fear it. I feel like that's it. Everything else will come and go, but change will always be there. Because the moment change stops, that's it. Life's done. It's over. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Change is growth. So, something you said, like I worry about it being too slow, but I don't worry when people resist change. I worry when we go back into the exact same road we went before, and that to me tells me we didn't change at all, right? Or didn't change enough. And that's because, again, every mistake in my life, that every time I'm repeating a lesson I've already been through, that tells me I didn't pick up something the last time that I needed to pick up this time. I feel society's the same way. I could be wrong, but
hey, that happens to everybody. Happens to the best of us. It just takes time and experience and more mistakes. But still you learn, and it's frustrating to see people not learn from the same mistakes. But
we're all the same, though, too.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah. The future is inherently better than today. The road getting there isn't always the easiest stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, comparatively, if you think about where we were at this time in the last century, you think about 1920, they were just getting over World War I, where just millions of people died terribly, So we haven't had any. We're tracking so far no world wars, so that's a big win, in my book. War will probably never ever go away, but we are not, we're not at the scale of war between nations that we used to have.
No, I think that the concept of nations is evolving too. I think that's part of what's going on right now, especially in the United States. We're heading more towards a more unified world overall. I think the real struggle right now is which way are we going to go. I think the United States. This is the sad part. This is gonna sound really depressing. I think you guys are collapsing. So I'm being honest. Right?
I am not gonna
Yeah, it's great. You live there.
Right. I'm gonna check that box. Neither agree nor disagree right now.
Yeah. No, it could go either way, but that's like I'm seeing it. I'm seeing an empire that's being forced to confront how it's done things up to this very point, and it has to make a choice between either changing how they've done things to this point, or not existing in a very short time, as we know it anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. I think the choice is: do you make that change consciously, or does the world change you, whether you want to or not? And that's where I think the United States is at right now. We'll see where it goes tomorrow, and that's my opinion. I could be, like I said, I could be on my own drugs, but I mean that's
I think, I mean, who knows? Anything is possible. I really think that, we haven't hit rock bottom. But
no, you haven't, not yet.
But we're certainly in a position now to hopefully be going back up again. But people resist that.
Oh yeah.
And that's hard. That's hard to deal with. Hard to deal with the people that want to hang on to the way things used to be, and the good old days. There's a lot of people when people say, "Oh, back in the old," they like to do it old school. I'm not. I'm not always that keen on old school. Old school is old school generally because of a reason. As far as why we've changed to it.
Let me give you like a fun, like what I feel is a fun old school thing. Wooden roller coasters. They're fun.
Okay.
They're terrifying. Yeah. No. We'll go down this way.
All right.
Roller coasters. They're fun. They're a great ride. I do not believe, and this is just my opinion, that the modern roller coaster, even though it has the loops, I don't feel the same terror like I do on a wooden coaster. I think the wooden coaster is just a really unique, it's a unique kind of thing. But here's the thing. I don't want to play with an Atari. Why would I play with an Atari?
Right.
I got a PlayStation 4 or 5 and I can do so much more with the PlayStation 4 or 5. Now, I don't mind an Atari style game as a nostalgia trip once in a while.
Right.
Right. That's fine, right? The nostalgia's okay. But I don't want to stay there. No. I like Double Dragon. I don't want to play it for the rest of my life. Right? I just don't.
Right. We got something quite a bit better now. So let's you have that little taste of nostalgia, and it's fun. I would play. The last console game I had was a PS1, and I loved it. I had a blast on it. But if I got a console now, I would never get anything done ever. So I don't buy them anymore.
For me, I can do a console. I can't do it on a computer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So here's the thing about a console. I can turn it off. I have to actually make an effort to turn it on. So for me, it's kind of one of those. I can turn it on, right? Now, don't get me wrong. There are some games that take me down a rabbit hole for days. Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13, Persona 5. Listen, I love that game way too much. But I can turn it off. Right. Now, I tried World of Warcraft twice.
Yes. Okay.
Twice. The first time, 8 hours of my life went away, and I'm not sure what happened to it. The second time, another 8 hours of my life went away, and I decided I couldn't do it. It was just one of those situations where it's just like, if it's on my computer, I can't do it. Right? YouTube sometimes gets me in trouble.
But,
right?
So
YouTube rabbit holes, man. They can get you. They get you hard.
Oh yeah. No, I played World of Warcraft too, and I hear you. I know exactly what you're talking about. I played it for several years, and those are years I'll never get back of my life. But I still don't regret it because it was still fun.
No, I'm not. Again, this is the thing. I don't knock anybody that's into that. I understand.
Right.
Right. I do. I really do. I can't. Because if I get into that, I have a third book I want to release on my own. That'll be my sixth. That'll be my sixth one. That honorable character one we were talking about. That's my third. Then I want to do sequels to all three of those books. So nice. If I'm playing World of Warcraft, and I'm going to call it World of Warcraft because it kind of did.
Yep.
If I'm getting my fix there, I'm not gonna create anything. And then I got right. And so it's just one of those things. I just realized. I think when we get older, we realize we only have so much time in the day. Yep. Also, occasionally I like dating women. I like doing that, right? And by the way, I don't think games preclude dating women, but I find my time goes into my time sinks. Right. It's not it, right? No, women are big gamers. I know some really big women gaming fans, and they're awesome. But then the solution there is you date them and do play dates on video game systems that you both can play at the same time. That's your workaround, right? There
you go. Boom. So that's a slam dunk right there. Yeah,
exactly. Now, if I can find that in a girl that likes comics and travel, I'm in. Like, that's it. I'll marry that, right?
That's bliss there, right there.
Yeah, that's the dream. The dream. Yeah, that's totally the dream. Whereabouts are you, man? If you don't mind my asking.
Say again?
Whereabouts are you? Like, whereabouts are you in the States right now?
I'm in Chicago suburb, Schaumburg.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And you're in?
Windsor, Ontario. I'm about 4 hours away from you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I mean, I can't cross the border to say hi to you, but I'm just saying.
I know. We're stuck here probably for a while yet.
Next summer. I think next summer it'll be better. I'm not. I think it's gonna be fully open, but I think it's going to be better.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't even drive into Canada, and that's frankly embarrassing.
Yes.
That we can't do that. That's
yeah,
bad.
we're not. Well, I'll make you a solemn promise. No politics or COVID talk.
Okay.
Just not because I don't. I just feel like everybody's talked about it to death, and I realize that especially with the COVID case, it's going to be a part of life for the foreseeable future. It's just really I don't. Watching you guys down there has been an experience, and
that's very nice of you to put it that way.
Yes. Yeah, it's been an experience, and I guess the only thing I will say is I actually can't begrudge anybody any stance they take. The biggest problem you guys have is you have no credibility at top. Yeah. That's not even just that. I mean, big part of that's your president, but it's not all your president either. And so it's kind of one of those. I can be very forgiving to everybody because you're not Japan. You don't have a leadership that actually has a very consistent way of doing things, right?
Right.
You're not Japan. You're not China. You're not Australia. You're not any of these other places.
Right.
Right. That have a leadership that's relatively trustworthy. We'll just say that because I don't think any political thing is completely trustworthy, but relatively trustworthy. They have a consistent message. I still don't know what your message is, and I've watched it for months, and that's the only thing I like. That's it, right? That's all I can really say. It's just like so I can't blame anybody.
There is no consistent message, and it's just as frustrating for us as it is for you. So, because you never know what's going to happen next. So
and watching that has been an experience. Just that's it. That's all I'll say. I can't say we've been perfect either up here, but how did my friend of mine say? You could trip over our bar and still be above us, and it's like that. I can't argue that. So,
that's pretty on target.
Yeah, I can't argue that. So that's it. That's as much COVID I think as I want to say. It's like whatever happens, this will pass. Like we have gone. I think we've gone farther than a lot of people realize into this already. It's one of those. I think we're in like this dark mile. Like when you're at a sailing ship and you're just at that point at night where you can't see anything. You're just moving. That's where we're at right now. Everybody is moving. To what and where is kind of an unknown, and it's kind of scary because especially in North America, have never really experienced anything like this.
Mm.
But we are going forward, like 1 inch at a time. I think that's all it feels like right now. So,
yeah, slowly forward, but slowly. I think things will pick up here next year.
yeah.
I really hope conventions come back next year.
If they do, that'll be late next year. I do know. It will be late next year if they do. I don't know about early. I think there is a chance for late, at least in some places.
I just saw somewhere C2E2. C2E2 is the big show here in Chicago, and that's been scheduled for December of next year. So, fingers crossed. I'll get into that one. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I see. I made myself a promise, and this is what's going to happen. No matter what's going to happen here, 2021. So the ultimate dream of this show for me is I get to travel across the world, meeting amazing people who do cool things like you do, and hear their story. That's
cool.
That's what I'm going to do.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it. If there's anything this time has taught me, is even in this, there's one. Here's I think the most optimistic thing I can say. In one sense, nothing has changed. When we wake up every morning, it's a gamble whether we're going to make it to the end of the day, every day, right? Life is always going to be dangerous.
Right, yeah.
Right, always. Doesn't matter how safe people feel it is. The truth of the matter is, the one thing COVID reminded the world is anything can happen at any time. That is a very powerful message. Like, if there's anything inside you that you feel you should be doing, now's the time to do it.
Mm. Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know, but that's how
you get plenty of time at home, to work on your little dream project. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and at some point you go for it. Because again, life is short on time but long on possibilities, and I kind of love that. And that's what I'm going to be for the rest of my life. I don't see any other way to be, and maybe that might be my big flaw, but that's just life.
There's only one way to find out, right?
Exactly, and at the very least, I'll have a good time. That's kind of how I see it,
Yeah.
So and again, maybe I'm crazy. But I'm good with my crazy. I think we all got to make peace. At the end of the day, you got to be happy with who you are in the mirror. Because honestly, it's the only respect I feel like actually kind of matters is self-respect.
Yeah.
Because that's the only one. That's the one that moves you. That's the one that makes you do your thing.
Yeah. If you don't have, self-respect. It's big. It's important. If you don't respect yourself, you can't have a lot of respect for other people either.
No.
So it all starts there. I think that's really where, where your outlook on life begins, is how much respect you have for yourself. So, and then that
trickles into everything.
Everybody else in your life too. So.
Your mic hit. You hit your mic there. Did you hit something?
Can you hear me?
You're back. Now I hear you again. Yeah.
Okay.
You kind of just, I don't know. It's just one of those
things. Oh yeah, I might have bumped in here.
Yeah, you bumped. That's right. Kurt Zauer, microphone abuser. That's what he did.
Microphone abuser.
That's right. That's a business card right there. See, he does. So let's ask another big question. So let's ask another big question. What's your dream with this? Where do you want to take your comics? What do you want? What's the dream with it?
The dream. Okay, here's the dream. Ready?
Great.
First story arc, 5 or 6 issues. Release it. Have all those successful Kickstarters. Release them maybe in a nice hardcover at the end of that, and then I don't know. Maybe go for an indie publisher. Maybe try Image or Scout, or if I can prove that I can pull these things off, then maybe go for the big win, through Diamond, through distribution, and see how it goes from there.
You want to do a more traditional deal then? Is that's what you want to do?
Yeah, I think. I guess honestly, I just want to be successful. If I can. I see some amazing Kickstarters out there that have done so well. I guess I just right now I aspire to that level of success on Kickstarter. And then from there, who knows where things can go from there. I just want it to be, it's to remain something I enjoy doing, number one, and then to something that at least, it doesn't have to be a huge money maker, but I do want it to be, profitable, and I want to get something out of it more than I put into it, So, so yeah, I mean, it's a great hobby. It's expensive. Artists are not cheap, and but it's worth it. It's fun. It's motivating, and it's just wonderful to see your script come back to you in a page of art. That's to me the most magical part of the whole process. So, I want to be successful. I want people to like my story and keep having successful Kickstarters, really. And then we'll see about the big leagues. I don't know. We'll see.
No, I'm just curious. I have crazy goals for all my book series.
Okay. Let's hear it then.
The Cloud Diver and Alice Zero, I want them to be either board games or video games. Alice Zero is that board. I accidentally invented a board game for Alice Zero, which is my. Okay. I accidentally invented it because I wanted to do this world map that was kind of like a Snakes and Ladders board. It's I had it in my head. What it would look like. I was like, this is fantastic. How do you play the game? And the moment I asked that question, I'm not kidding you, a whole bunch of rules hit my brain, down to my brain. I'm like, yeah. I played it on my 200th episode of my podcast. You can actually listen to the sample board game being played. Because I actually did. I did. Yeah. So I want to do that. Cloud Diver. I want the old Kung Fu Double Dragon video game, right? My one character is a coward. So there's basically I think a little bit of Lollipop Chainsaw in the sense that it's a comedic style action game, right? Maybe not quite as morbid as Lollipop Chainsaw what it turned out to be with the severed head as the sidekick throughout the whole quest, but think of it so my main character is a coward, and my heroine's like a badass that's kind of reminiscent of Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. So the whole thing is when she's moving, she's dragging him with her. He doesn't want to go, but he's a coward. But she just drags him as she's kicking all kinds of ass. I have this in my head, that's kind of what I want it to be. Okay. Right. Corey, I want to see if I can get into a television series, one drama. I wouldn't care if it was one of those terrible Dresden File one season things. Even that would be cool.
Oh yeah.
Even that would be cool. And but I'm because I realize it's not just selling your story in one medium; it's selling them in all these mediums. Every medium can tell your story in a very unique and wonderful way. And I think cool thing about comics in particular is you're basically building storyboards, going for a movie, going for a television show, going for a cartoon. Yours sounds like an amazing cartoon. It sounds like an amazing one. And get a studio that does Samurai Jack or something like that. And I think you'd have a really cool. That's what it feels like in my head. You're the boss. I'm just here being pretty. But I mean, you're the boss when you're on your thing. And
no, it's funny you mentioned that because I was watching. How good? I don't know. Have you seen Castlevania on Netflix?
Yes.
How good that is. I was watching just the animation there. I'm like, this is my story right here. This is how I want to see my story visualized. A movie would probably be.
I think movies are overrated, honestly, a little bit for a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love the paycheck of a movie, but right. But I don't necessarily think The Cloud Diver or Alice would be a good movie. I think they would be better in other mediums, and I'd rather tell the best story possible, and not necessarily. And that sounds incredibly pretentious because I know I'm a whore enough to hey, we're going to throw money at you. And I'm like, well, sure. I'm being honest about that.
Come on, it's every creator's dream. It's all right.
It's one of those situations where I recognize that for us, the real money for any creative is not just selling your story once, but selling your story many, many, many times over. And that I think is where success comes, when your story touches people's hearts, as a book or a comic or a work of art. A painting can do the same thing, right? But when that concept is just taken into another level somewhere else, that's when you've got something really special.
Yeah. We'll see.
Go for it. I mean, you never know, man.
No, yeah. To see it in an anime on Netflix would just blow my mind. That would be a dream come true right there.
Yeah.
That level of animation and that level of voice acting, that's awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask this. We're going to wrap this up with a little bit more fun stuff here, and then we're going to wrap this up where you can do all the shameless plugging of stuff that is required. But I was going to ask. You mentioned you were big into gaming. What were your games? What were the games you played, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh my goodness, D&D, basic set, advanced. Every version we stopped at 3.5. God, we played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We played Marvel Superheroes. We played Bushido. We played Boot Hill. We played Top Secret, Car Wars, Pathfinder. Obviously, we're doing that. Mutants and Masterminds. Let's see, what else? Yeah, when I was in high school, if there was a game, we played it. It was fun. Right? It was a good time.
Yeah. No, so for me it was Shadowrun.
Oh yeah, we played Shadowrun too briefly. Yep. With all those dice.
I was actually GM at Shadowrun. I decided to take Robert Zelazny's Amber series and I incorporated it into the Shadowrun universe.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Robert Zelazny's Amber universe is awesome, and it was amazing watching my group talk themselves into working for Puck. It was hilarious. I didn't plan that, but it was
working with the what?
Puck. I took the Oberon concept of Oberon's children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I introduced Puck as just a gag, mostly for myself.
Yeah.
And they ended up working for him, which I thought was hilarious.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So I enjoyed that. There's another one I really enjoyed, and I can't name it. It's the martial arts style, like where you do crazy combos with your dice, and it's really good. And a buddy of mine was the GM of that until he passed on, and it's killing me. I can't remember the name. Magic the Gathering was a huge one.
Okay. I had some buddies that played that, but I never got into that one. So yeah,
it's a huge money thing, but I enjoy the building decks, building your own deck to play against people. It's an art form in of itself. And once upon a time, I was really good at it. Once upon a time. Now I have fun with it. I enjoy Commander, and that's where and for the rest of my life, that's where I'm going to be in Magic. I enjoy Commander. No, hold on. Let me think about this. What else did I get? And currently, I'm playing Shadowverse. That's my computer card game of choice. I'm a big card game guy, but I like that they're 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes of my life, or maybe an hour of my life at most, and then
that's not bad then.
Yeah. Well, again, going back to something we said earlier, I want to balance all those wonderful things I want to do with my life, and I still want to play games. I just don't want to. I don't have the time to I don't want my beard. Oh, cool. You play Commander, Mog? Yeah, do you play Commander? Because I have I'm building a gambling Commander deck because I think beating people by coin toss is hysterical, especially in that game, right? But no, I just the time required to play these games. I mean, there's some amazing. I think games are incredible stories in of themselves, but they require a lot of time to tell those stories.
Yes,
and play them out. So,
but we've got things we got to do, man. We got to be creative.
Yeah. Yes. You'll love Commander. Commander's fun. Anyways, Mr. Kurt, I think we have an interview here. What do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Was that fun? Was this fun?
It was fun.
Yeah, good. See, that's the best. I'm not a scary guy. Not most of the time, anyway.
Yeah. No, this was cool. Let me. Can I put my link in the thing?
Yeah. I was just about to actually get you to do all the plugs, but I actually wanted to ask you one last question. So when I officially did the talk show, would you like to come back?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll definitely talk to you. Yeah. So plug your stuff, your Kickstarter, what's going on with you right now. Plug 101 Tales as well, because after all, Mog was. I have to thank Mog Park for getting us together. If not Mog, thank you very much. And
thank you, Mog.
Yeah. So beyond that, plug 101 Tales, plug your stuff, and plug where people can find you.
Okay, 101 Tales Virtual Con starts on the 17th of November. Mog, please correct me if I'm wrong, and it goes through the 21st. And my little piece of that pie is 9 p.m. Central Time on November the 17th. So that first Tuesday. And my Kickstarter is currently live on Kickstarter. It goes through the end of this month. The final day is actually Black Friday, so I might work some kind of Black Friday deal in there. But we're currently funded at 80%. We've got 66 backers. 68. So yeah, and we're doing well. We're kicking butt. I've got a little over 2 weeks to go. I know I'm going to fund at 100%, but there's I want to improve the cover. I've got really cool artwork from Mog. She's done a whole tarot series. She's done like 7 tarot cards that I'm going to have done in like a metallic cards.
The actual Arcana or the
Yeah, they're all major Arcana cards, except for one of my characters. He's the Knight of Swords. So we're going to get those done in a metallic. They're going to be standard tarot card size, and Mog has also done a beautiful cover for me. And also artist Chris Enot has done an amazing demon rendering of Sabanian, which is just all flame and lava and just badass. So I mean, just gorgeous artwork. Of course, a great story. Something kind of different, not your typical hero in tights type story. It's a little outside the box. But it's on Kickstarter right now, and we're doing well. And I want to hit those stretch goals so I can offer upgraded covers and some more of Mog's great artwork and that kind of stuff.
So everybody, before he finishes plugging him stuff, the links will be in the episode descriptions if you want to contribute and join in. They will be there, and I'll definitely be mentioning it on the podcast as well. So
thank you so much.
So beyond that, how can people find you?
Sorry?
How can people find you?
How do people find me? My website is kgcomics.com. And I'm also on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is Kurt Zauer. Twitter is Kurt_Zauer. My website is kgcomics.com. And, just put my name in Facebook and you'll find me. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, this was the end of her chat. Thank you very much. If you liked what you heard, please click on the subscribe button. I'm thundering for 100. I know that sounds really lame and cheesy, but I am getting to that. Yeah, you're pretty close, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty close. Yeah, it's like I said, for me, I literally started doing these interviews a week ago. I had when I started this 56 subscribers. I'm already almost at 80 inside the week. So I mean,
not bad at all.
Well, no. So I mean, it's not too bad. So I'm trying to get to 100, and then I'll come up with something like another just as cheesy when I go for 250. But subscribe to the podcast here. My podcast is on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher. I have a Patreon page, patreon.com/JustJoshingPodcast. If you want to donate. Stay inspired. Thank you guys for watching, listening, and I will talk to you guys soon with another guest this Thursday. Alrighty. Take care.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Kurt, for coming on my show.
Thanks, Josh. Have a good one.